Today I would like to demonstrate and perform a Swedish back massage. We're going to learn 4 techniques: Effleurage, Petrissage, friction, and Tapotement. To begin the actual work on a person, what I like to do first is I like to take a deep breath and then exhale down into my feet and feel the soles of my feet connecting to the ground. And after I am calm inside, then I place my hands on the person that I'm going to be working on. I could start with a little bit of rocking. It's soothing to the nervous system to be rocked, just for a little while. And then I would start with the actual back massage. A wonderful beginning stroke for the back is a Effleurage stroke, going up the back, over the shoulders, turning the hands a little bit, and coming up through the pelvis. And we start again, stroking up the back, next to the spine, all the way to the neck, over the shoulders, turning our hands, and then coming over the pelvis together. Flowing up the back, in the middle, coming all the way to the neck, over the shoulders, turning the hands, coming down over the pelvis, and bringing your hands together. And now, Effleurage stroke number 2. Taking both hands, putting them next to each other, stroking up the back, over the shoulder, and straight back down, all the way to the hips, and starting over again. On one side of the back. Then to get to the other side, letting my hands come up in the middle, coming down in the middle, and I'm going to turn around and do the same thing on the other side. And finishing up with the beginning stroke. Both hands next to the spine, hands over the shoulder, drawing my hands back, coming over the pelvis, and again, up the back, over the shoulders, down on the sides of the back, and coming back together. And now, Effleurage stroke number 3. I'm pulling my hands across the person's back, all the way from one side of the back to the other. This is a slow, deep, flowing move. And one hand stops at the neck. I'll glide down and start all over again. It's a wave-like motion. And gliding back down. Effleurage in French means stroking. So the 3 strokes you just saw are the stroking Effleurage strokes in the Swedish technique. Now we're going to move on to the Petrissage technique of Swedish, and that means kneading or milking the tissue. What I do is I use my hands to grasp the skin and muscle tissue and squeeze it every time I grasp. The technique is that my hand goes from a C hold to a V. My fingers are straight and not curled. This avoids bruising the tissue. So I'm grasping with straight fingers in a C motion the tissue and squeeze it between my thumb and fingers. In alternating motions with my hands. I pick up the skin tissue here and squeeze it again and again. This allows circulation to come into the muscles and the skin. It feels especially good up here on the neck. Picking up and squeezing the skin tissue and muscle tissue underneath. And when I have arrived at the neck area, I'll glide down back to the pelvis and begin again. Always watching my hands so that the fingers are straight and my fingers are in a C motion and then turning into a V. And I cover the whole back, the whole side of the back with this stroke. I leave no inch undone. When we are working on the back, one thing we need to be aware of, and that is the spine. And the spine is in the middle of the back. We never want to put pressure on the spine. We always work on one side or the other next to the spine. So now we're going to the friction part of Swedish massage. And we're going to go across the fibers of the muscles. Friction works deeply into the muscle tissue. And I am aware of the spine right here. And then I use my fingers to push across the muscle fibers of the spinal muscle. You can even see the muscle here pop out. And we take our fingers and deeply stroke across this muscle. Very often, a lot of tension is anywhere along this long muscle that goes all the way from the pelvis to the neck. When I come to the neck, I glide back down and I do this again. This is slow and deeply done. Following it all the way, always finding the spot next to the spine to start, going from the spine outward, stroking deeply through these muscles with my fingertips. That feels wonderful. Another approach to the friction segment of Swedish massage is to work with our whole hand and the heel of our hand. And this time we're going to work on our side of the back. So we begin placing our hand straight next to the spine. We're going to work with the heel of our hand, and it will look like this. Deeply going across the same muscle that we were working on the other side, using the heel of our hand, moving upwards from right next to the spine, out over the main muscles of the back, erector spinae muscles, and slowly and deeply working up towards the shoulders. And when we arrive in the shoulder area, we're going to use the other hand to complete that side of the back. Always using the heel of our hand from the spine outward towards the shoulders. Up in this area there are many tension bundles. There's a lot of tension stored from our life and work on computers, driving, and stress of life altogether. So we can spend some time here working through and smoothing out these muscles. The other hand rests on the back just for support and warmth. Okay, so this was the second approach to the friction. And then there is one more. This stroke is done with the fingers. And we use our fingertips in circular motion from the spine, next to the spine, out, over the main back muscles that run right next to the spine. Circular motion, deep into the tissue with our fingertips like this, making a circle, circling up, across the fibers of this muscle, circular motion, up and up further. Up towards the neck, into the neck muscles, upper back, base of neck, and then gliding down and starting it again. This time, second time, we can move a little faster. The heel of the hand should also be resting on the back. And then I would do the same thing on the other side. The last stroke of the Swedish back massage, in terms of technique, is Tapotement. And Tapotement is stimulating to the nervous system. And one of the techniques is cupping. It looks and sounds like this. It should sound hollow. There is another technique as well, and it is hacking. Looks like this. And what we do with our hands is we let our fingers fall onto each other. And it's only done with the fingers, not with the side of the hand. So the fingers are loosely slapping onto each other, and it sounds like this. And we can do this really all over the body. We could go down the legs and come up the other leg. And the faster we do it lightly, the more stimulating it is to the nervous system. So this is a good technique to bring a person out of a relaxing massage. You can add one more Tapotement stroke. It's called beading. It sounds cruel, but it feels actually pretty good. And letting your fists fall loosely onto the back, bouncing off with your fists. This is great after a cold, when there's mucus stored in the lungs, or for cystic fibrosis. beating the rib cage, beating the upper area of the back, coming across to the other side. It will stimulate mucus secretion in the lungs. Okay, and to end the whole back massage, we finish with the Effleurage stroke that we started with. Starting in the middle, low back, stroking up with our fingertips towards the head, to the neck, over the shoulders, turning our hands and coming back down on the sides towards the middle of the low back. And then placing our hands on the back and rocking the person a little bit. She's taking a deep breath and I'm taking a deep breath. And that will make every back very happy. Working in a circular motion with the digestive system and the large intestine goes clockwise in our abdomen. It ascends on the right side, transverses in the middle, and descends on the left side. So we just want to make sure that we don't go against the direction of digestion. So these are Effleurage strokes that go in circular motion with the flow of the digestive process. After that, we can Petrissage the abdomen, picking up and squeezing the skin tissue. Again, always going in a clockwise motion. And then up and down in the middle of the belly, squeezing the rectus abdominis muscle, the muscle that helps us do sit-ups. And then completing that with some effleurages. And then starting on the outer perimeter of the abdomen, doing circular motions with our fingers. Picking that up with the other hand. Working across the abdomen to the other side. And then working it down and completing that with stroking. A wonderful abdominal move is to put your hands on top of each other and then sink it in with the heel of your hand and pull with your fingertips, pushing the small intestines from one side and pulling them over to the other side. This stimulates the digestion. This is great for constipated conditions. Too much? Always you want to be sensitive if anything is painful, and then you want to stay very light in your strokes. And my person here is relaxed, and so I can continue with this motion. Another wonderful stroke to do is compression, compressing the abdomen from the sides, pushing the tissue to the middle, squeezing it, letting go here, and squeezing it on the sides, easing up in the middle, compressing the sides, easing up in the middle. And always after one stroke, just let your hands rest. Bring some calmness into the abdomen, soothing. If we really want to help someone invigorate the digestive system and there are no contraindications present, then we can imagine to divide the abdomen into 4 quadrants and start at the right lower quadrant, palpating, which means feeling for tension bundles. Either the muscle tissue is tight or maybe some undigested food, waste is stuck somewhere, and through this we can help it move along. This is gently done, never hurting anyone. As soon as something becomes uncomfortable on the abdomen, we want to reduce the pressure. Then I'm moving up to the right upper quadrant. And how I'm doing this is that I'm pulling from the outer perimeter of the abdomen towards the belly button. Just feeling for gentle moves, like scooping moves towards the belly button. And then moving on to the left upper quadrant, sinking in with my fingertips, pushing towards the belly button in a very gentle approach. Often when we don't move enough, sit too much, eat the wrong foods, digestive problems occur. And there is some bulking up in here, in this area, on my subject here. So I'm going to just stay with this area and gently work into a somewhat clogged area in the digestive process here. I can feel that through her skin, and she can feel it as well. So what's important is that I'm very gentle in terms of helping resolve that buildup. And what I want to do is help things move along. So by working in this area, what I'm doing is I'm bringing blood circulation into this area, and I'm stimulating the walls of the intestines actually, so that they remember their job. Okay, that's enough. And then finishing up the work, and she took a nice deep breath, which means there was some tension buildup in here that now is relieving a bit. And then finishing up in a circular effleurage move, again going like the face of a clock from the right side to the left. And to end with, I can place my hands gently on her abdomen and follow her breath. Come up and down. The warmth of my hands alone is very soothing on someone's belly, because so often our digestive system is upset, or we are upset, and a lot of that happens in our abdomen. To have someone place a warm hand on our belly alone is very comforting and soothing. And that's how we finish this beginner's abdomen massage. I'm slowly taking my hands off as I slowly, in the beginning, came in to touch the belly. The belly is a very vulnerable region, so we need to treat it with a lot of respect. This is another nice technique to do. And you place the heel of your hand into the belly button and my fingertips point towards her head, and I'm going to observe her breath coming in and out, and when she breathes out, I'm going to lean into her belly a bit until I can feel her heartbeat against my hand. This again is done lightly and gently and never causing any discomfort. This allows people to really focus on the internal processes of their body. So now I'm finishing this abdominal massage with a little shaking. And a little vibration. Again, helping the intestinal tract to loosen up. And altogether ending this work with a soothing circular stroke. And then just resting my warm hands on her abdomen, following her breath in and out. If you do this well, this has a wonderfully relaxing and soothing and nurturing effect on the person. And then again, as slowly as I touched in the beginning, I will remove my hands here at the end. So you start with the ascending large intestine on the right lower. You go all the way over in between the pelvis and the ribs. Then you pull it across, or push it across if you're on the other side. This is for the large intestine. It's jokingly called the toothpaste move. And then pulling down to help eliminate.
It's so bulky right here.
Yeah, there's something stuck. Yeah, I couldn't go deep enough like here on the video to figure out what it was, but I think actually it's your psoas muscle. A little tight in here. Feel that? You might want to work on this yourself. Okay, right there. Yeah. Is it sharp or? See, the two.
It's dull. I think it's
even up here.
I
Feel
think
that?
it's full. I think
Yeah.
I think I have to go.
Yeah. Yeah, so work on this yourself, okay? Is this too much? Is it all right?
No.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing you want to do. You want to actually go that deep. Okay. I didn't dare show that to people. Find the outer edges of the erector abdominis muscle, and because you want to scoop underneath it. And you come in at the outer edges here and slowly sink down into the direction of the spine. So it's usually a 45-degree entry into the belly here. And you sink until you land on the, how is this for you? It's okay so far? Tell me if it's, if it hurts, okay? So we're almost there, like maybe a quarter of an inch. Here, we're getting there, right there. Feel that? Yeah, it's really tight. That's all it is your erector abdominis muscle right there. Feel that? That's what you want to work on. So then you just go directional friction up and down a bit on it. It feels like you're you're sinking through soft tissue, and then you're landing on something that feels pretty hard. If you're going in correctly, you have to land on the abdomen, on the psoas muscle. Okay? We should make sure that our hands are warmed up. And I already have some lotion in my hands, and I'm just going to warm the lotion and my hands. And they're warm. So then I'll start with a stroke from the ankles towards the toes, and folding the whole foot with my hands, gliding over the surfaces of the foot towards the toes. His foot is cold, so hopefully while I'm working on his foot, it will warm up. The next stroke we're going to do is to encircle the ankle joint with our fingers. This should be a firm circling right around the protruding bones of the ankle joint here. Do it several times. It really feels pleasant, and they could have us do it for a long time because it feels great. So, circles around the ankle joint. Then the next stroke is to squeeze the heel of the foot with our thumbs and fingers, our whole hand squeezing the heel, and then squeezing up into the back of the lower leg, into the Achilles tendon. Warming the tendon, and back to the heel again and giving it a few more squeezes. After that, we're going to use our thumbs on the bottom of the foot. We're going to put the thumbs just below the toes on the padding, below the toes, and the fingers on the top of the foot, and cross over the whole bottom of the foot from the toes down to the heel and back up again. After that, we're going to use our fist, and we're going to use the flat part of our fist here. And we're going to put that flat surface against the padding below the toes and support the foot with the other hand from the top, twisting into the padding of the foot, bringing the circulation into this part. And then rolling the fist over the bottom of the foot, up and down from the toes towards the heel. After that, we're going to massage the top of the foot. And for that, I'm going to stand up because I don't want to crunch up my shoulders. And doing circles with my thumbs from the toes towards the joint. Massaging the whole entire surface of the foot on top. And now I can feel that his foot is warming up. One effect of massage is increased circulation. That's good. The last part of a foot massage is to work on the toes. So I'm going to grab each toe by the base and then squeeze it to the tippity tip of it, like that, squeezing and rubbing each toe. And the big toe particularly, squeezing the padding and massaging the padding of the big toe, and then holding the big toe and rotating the joint of the toe for flexibility. Often our feet are held tight in shoes, and it's good to free up the joints. Okay, and we end with a flexion, an extension in the foot, in the joint. So I put my whole hand against the bottom of the foot and ask my partner to take a deep breath. And when they're exhaling, I'm going to lean my body weight against the foot, really flexing this joint, re-establishing mobility. And take another deep breath. And this time I'm going to extend the joint of the foot. Pull the foot towards me. Stretch that joint. And one more time, take a deep breath. And when exhaling, leaning against the foot, firmly pressing into it, and then one more time, take a breath, and exhaling, stretching the foot. And last, I'm going to circle and rotate the joint, again, to free up the channels in regard to blood circulation and just create some flexibility there. So just let me do the circle. Oh, relax. That's great. All right. And ending with the same stroke we started with, and folding the foot from the ankle joint up towards the toes, saying goodbye to this foot. It's always a sad thing for the person on the table, because I'm sure he's really enjoying it, and we're coming to an end. And then just holding the foot for a moment, letting it sink in, allowing him to feel the effects of this work. Okay, and that's it. Very simple massage.